There's a color is Oh, I put some more water in the refrigerator. That's not frozen. Do you want some of those bottles on the way to go?
Uh, sure. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. One person said that these people will break into your apartment. So since I heard about that, and I'm like, okay, well, you're gonna break into my apartment, I'm not gonna clean it. Usually this shit's clean. It's just like when they said that, it just freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah.
All right. So you were not raped?
Yeah, I was raped. Yeah.
You no. In this apartment.
No.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
No, I wouldn't.
No. Okay. Good. It was like good. No, I wasn't raped or drugged or anything, so everything's cool. I don't have a problem. No, I don't have a problem because I understand that you're a gang stalking victim just like me. So, man, I love to help people out. It's just the situation is like really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Okay. Now, what kind of that's iceberg lettuce or that romaine lettuce or something like that?
Oh, right there?
Mm-hmm.
It's tortilla chips. And I put it inside a bag and had grapes in it.
Oh. Okay. Cool. Cool. So you've been a gang stalking victim all your life by some dude who dated your mom?
His company, yeah. He's like mafia guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's my sister's dad,
Mm-hmm.
my older sister's dad. Uh, he abandoned her as well as me when we were kids. He got mad at my mom, and she didn't want to be with him. He hit her supposedly, but she just didn't want anything to do with him. I remember when I was a kid, I saw him go up to her and kiss her.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a kiss her goodbye thing, but I was like yay tall. I was like wicked young,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was my sister's dad. Uh, they coerced, enticed me to go. They were surprised I knew what Mary Jane was, and they asked me if I wanted to go get high at their house. And they said to put your back up against the brick wall of the house, put your head between your legs, and like you get really dizzy. And he tried to spin me, and then he gave me Kool-Aid, and I woke up inside his house, on a couch that like had a window to the outside,
Mm-hmm.
to his outside patio thing, where I was up against the wall. Right on the inside of that window was a couch, and I was like this, and I woke up, and it was like the older man, who I didn't know who it was at first. It was dark inside his house, but it was my sister's dad. He straight up admitted it to me. He had like a shiv thing, like a tattoo, like a ghetto tattoo thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was at the Taddio's house. So he tattooed me at the Taddio's house.
Oh.
With a little ghetto, it was a thing that you thread a needle with, you know?
Oh.
And he had like India ink. And he gave me a tattoo mark. And then he kissed it. And I walked home past my friend Dorian Bodie's house. He was like my only friend. He was like they're the only colored family in town.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like my best friend. The other guy, the guy that came into my house and like took a picture of me in the bathtub after it happened, after they like pretty much set me on fire, like with disease in my thing. They were prank phone calling my mom, threatening my mom. They said he has to go into the bathtub right away. So I went to the bathtub and I was in there, and then a strange man came in the bathtub and took a picture of me, and it was a Polaroid picture. thing, and the same guy took a picture of me and my friend Dorian. I remember we were running away from him. He was just like the neighborhood schizophrenic, my mom said, to stay away from him. He's like a bad guy, and yeah, it's my older sister's dad. She still thinks it's the man who raised us. She still thinks that it won't matter that like she was touched when she was a kid too by the other guy, Trainwreck.
His friend.
Yeah, Whitey Bulger's friend, Trainwreck.
Mm-hmm.
They had some kind of like speakeasy, like it was like a heroin operation thing going on running out of our basement when I was just a kid, and it was our basement with the neighbor's basement, and there was like so much news back then. I remember about Amber abductions, about kids getting abducted, and my family got scared. We moved away. I had to have surgery. I had to have a cesarean style surgical operation. He told my mom that I was laid, that he laid me. He told my dad, he said, because my dad was throwing rocks into the woods. Apparently he like came close to hitting their house, or he hit their house. He came running up our backyard. And he pushed my dad and he said, "What's wrong with you, Paul? Why don't you get down there and get that taken care of?" And he said, "Trevor, you want to build a tree fort?"
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to go build this tree fort. And I grabbed lumber from a yard, and I was building this tree fort. And I put in an Atari system, Atari game console, with the joystick, the old school one, that I got from a yard sale at the Tadio's house. And the guy who sold it to me at the yard sale was my older sister's dad. Was the guy who molested me.
So your dad name is Willie what?
No, my dad.
No.
I don't really know. My sister's dad.
Yeah, no one did that.
William Bulger.
Oh, and his friend Trainwreck.
Trainwreck.
And his other friend, the schizophrenic, was running a heroin.
Well, no, they're the same person. William Bulger is a schizophrenic. He used to hang out. He used to have a lot of spots around town. But you'd see him over at like Paul Giardino's house, who's a local in San Francisco and Oakland, and he grew up in Franklin, Massachusetts. I met up with him in Rochester, New York, and he's crazy. He's the son of the schizophrenic William Bulger guy and some Italian lady, and he's like as corrupt as they come. He'll sell fake drugs to children. He'll give them research chemicals and say that it's something that they're not. He'll give it to them purposefully because he says, I don't know what it is about it, but kids just seem to get naked and suck each other's thing. You know, he's just rotten, spoiled, rotten. He had like millions of dollars when he was a kid. So of course what he did is it's all drugs. He's killing people. His whole family's killing people. They're raping children and they're like cult leaders. They indoctrinate these kids with these, I don't know, they think it's funny to indoctrinate these kids with these drugs and, give them false ideas.
Okay. And you think these are the same people that have been stalking you from place to place, and one of them transitioned from a man to a woman?
Yeah, William Bulger did.
Oh. Okay.
He changed his name to Bob, too. Have you ever heard of, like, the AA program? They usually...
Alcohol Anonymous?
Yeah. They usually go by Bill and Bob. Bill and Bob's. I don't know. Maybe it was just a thing in Rochester. But, yeah, Bill Bulger, he changed his name to Bob.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's Bob Bulger. I remember when I was a kid, I hit him. We were just, like, play fighting. He was like, "You want to play cops and robbers?" I remember his name was Bob or whatever. He changed his name, and I punched him. Yeah, like I hit him in bad decision, right? He was like, "Ooh, bad idea." And then next thing I knew, I was waking up inside the Tadio's house with burning sensation in my thing. And I was walking home.
Oh, so that's when they put you in the shower or took pictures of you?
Yeah, put me in the bathtub. When I got home, I tried to complain about it to my mom, and she was like, I don't know, maybe when you're older you'll know. I said, why does it, what does it mean when someone tells you to put your back up against the wall, put your head between your legs, and breathe, like hyperventilate. And he said, as I was leaving, he said, next time you should ask me if you want some Kool-Aids. Wouldn't that be funny? Because like AIDS were the height of popularity back then. So yeah, it was Kool-Aid that put me to sleep. And he asked me if I wanted to have it. Next time, he asked me if you want some Kool-Aids. And the next time I met that same enterprise, I came in contact with them, was in Virginia. It was after my parents got scared. They got me and my younger sister and my older sister to move to Virginia. Like 3 years passed. Well, it was 7 years since the time of the incident. I had to undergo a surgery, the cesarean-style surgery. When I was 18, my dad died. Apparently, he killed himself. I don't know if it was an accident or if it was like a planned, like a premeditated thing.
It sounded like when you said it last night that it was planned by somebody, like it was murdered.
I think he was like subliminally coerced into, they gang stalk you. They turn on really creepy music at a really low volume, follow you around until it's fucking running amok in your brain. Yeah, he died when I was 18. Then within a year and a half, while working for a company called Spicetown, remember I was talking about the 1-800-SPANK-ME?
Yeah.
And the phone sex and the pay-per-view.
You said something to do with like sex trafficking.
Yeah, we were just we were kids and we were prank phone calling them, and just to like hear the voice or whatever. We were just kids, and they retaliated. And it happened to be my older sister's dad who was running that thing. And then when I was 19, turning 20, in June and July, I was ran off the road for a company called Spicetown, a Middle Eastern cuisine company, where unbeknownst to me, I was ran off the road. I remember thinking that I'm going to want to remember this after I get into the accident. And I ran my car, I hydroplaned over a grassy median in the middle, going like 50 miles per hour, and I slammed my Toyota Celica right into a Toyota Prius. I was in a coma for 3 weeks. I had brain surgery, so I have this huge scar on the side of my head. It took me forever to rehabilitate from that. And it just happened to be an ironic name, like the name of the same company almost,
Spicetown.
Yeah, Spicetown. Yeah, when I was in Franklin as a child, the band Live came out with a band called Shlt. It was like the same thing. It was just a shit town that I grew up in, and it was a shit down. Like it was like bodily fluids, or if it was a precursor to making LSD. Because of what he told me later on in life, because after the accident, my mom relocated me to Rochester for better rehabilitation services. It's like the pharmaceutical capital of Northeast. Like the RX is Rochester. They were doing pharmaceutical research in the 70s and 80s, and like Kodak and like a picture company. There was a toxic chemical spill, and I know they formulated a bunch of pharmaceuticals out of that, and they were hiring children as guinea pigs, like the Smashing Pumpkins song, "We're all rats in a cage." It was all for pharmaceutical development, and there were people that were intentionally abusing these kids, like intentionally doing it on purpose, like in a strategic way, so that these kids would be written a pharmaceutical prescription by a doctor, it was all to like memory repression. These antidepressants were typically just memory repression. They just make you forget about it, and that's what I was on for the longest time. After the accident, after my head injury, accompanied with the childhood of sexual assault, and when I was 13, I had to have the scar. I have the scar right here. I was on like Prozac.
What scar was that?
Uh,
Because it's not the same scar that you got when you was a child. They stick something in your back, like your penny.
no, it's you can't really see it because I have my pubic hair.
That's okay.
But yeah, I remember lying on the hospital bed, undergoing the operation, and the doctor handed my mom a piece of paper, and she said, yeah, just sign it, so you might thank me someday. So I signed it just like haphazardly. I was already going under anesthesia, and I remember like really freaking out when I was in Rochester because I found this video of me like undergoing a surgical operation on YouTube.
Oh, well,
yeah. And also, when I found that surgical operation on YouTube, so obviously someone's exploiting me. And then I found somebody videotaped me colliding my Toyota Celica right into a Toyota Prius, and like the car's in flames. And we're off the road, and it's raining outside, and somebody's taking a picture of us, like, oh shit, man, that guy just ate shit. You see that? You see that guy just fucking, just being douchebags. And I paired up that video with the surgical video of like age 7 when I had unresolved sexual assault, age 13, 14 when I underwent the surgery, and then age 20, 21 when I was like in a coma, and they're all related, and they're all like 7 years apart.
Right.
The statute of limitations for doing something about a sexual assault when in Massachusetts is what do they say? 7 years from time of incident, or 7 years from time of injury said to have been caused by injury. Excuse me. It's 7 years from time of injury said to have been caused by the incident, or 35 years from time of injury.
I just opened it. It's
Thanks.
No.
Yeah, then I was up in Rochester, and then all of a sudden, I recognized this guy as Whitey Bulger. I saw him. He got caught in San Francisco. He's like a littler guy. He looks like a meatwad, and white hair, white beard. And he's like very soft spoken. It looks like he just got out of jail. He had socks on and sandals. But he just moved to Rochester. I guess from doing his thing or whatever. But that was about all the clues that I needed. My friend Dorian from my childhood, because I was still skeptical about who did it. He said, "Yeah, come with me. We're gonna go enter this guy's house. We're just gonna walk right in." Rusty was Whitey's son's name, Whitey Bulger's son's name. It was Rusty who did it to me. Whitey Bulger's a lot older, the original one, his dad. He's like 89 years old. He just got killed in prison in West Virginia.
That's not your sister's dad.
Yeah, my sister's dad's the one that was in West Virginia. Well, no, excuse me. Geez. I don't mean to confuse you. My sister's dad is Rusty.
Rusty.
Yeah.
So
Rusty's dad is like the original Whitey Bulger.
Okay.
He was the one. The original Whitey Bulger was in West Virginia. He got picked up for a warrant in West Virginia, and then he got murdered. supposedly. I don't know. He's probably still alive. His son, Rusty, is the one who I found in Rochester, and then they followed me to Colorado when I left there. When I went AWOL from the hospital, and I went to Boulder, Colorado, Whitey Boulder, Colorado. And there was another time when I had a confrontation with Rusty in West Virginia when I was a kid. I was like 18.
Yeah.
My friend took me to a strip club, and she knew about it. She knew about the sexual assault when I was a kid. And she said, she pointed to that guy, and she said, like, I don't know, when you get a little bit older, you're going to want to remember that guy. And so that turned out to be the guy. And it was a direct relative of the Whitey Bulger guy who just got murdered like a couple months ago.
So, when you were 7, you were playing a game, like Cops and Robbers.
Yeah.
And they took you into one of their bathrooms, took a picture of you naked.
Well,
did surgery on you.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you have internet? Do you have access to internet?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I'll just give you the website address. The entire story's on there, all in the order in which it occurred. It was they wanted me to build a tree fort. You know, it was all a big scheme to like a grand scheme of things to legalize marijuana. But first, you know, they imported all these like bullshit synthetic marijuana substitutes.
Oh, okay.
Like fake marijuana, like K2 and stuff.
And spice and stuff like that?
Yeah, they imported a bunch of that stuff so that regular, natural, organic marijuana would look good by comparison. That's what they did with the embezzled insurance premiums that they penny pinchers.
Yeah.
They take a fraction of a penny so that nobody notices. And it was not just me, it was a bunch of other little kids too. Yeah, it was Trevor wanted to build a tree fort. And then I went and started building a tree fort. And I don't know, there's like a sequence of events that are kind of weird, but it makes sense. There's like, if only we could just evolve us as like kids, because there was a little girl that crapped in a chimney. She took a poop in a chimney. And her older brother was the same one that, as I was planting a Christmas tree in the ground, he came by and he yanked the tree out of the ground. And he said, "Your mom's fat." And I felt bad. I didn't say anything to my mom. I was like, I went and picked some flowers and gave it to my mom.
Oh.
And that was the guy who eventually like stole my bike, stripped off all the stickers, and returned it back to me. So like he defaced it. Have you ever heard the Grateful Dead song like "Steal Your Face"?
Oh no.
There's a Grateful Dead song, and it's called "Steal Your Face Right Off Your Head." So, to like deface something, like if you get a can of soup in the grocery store, you throw it on the ground, you get it for half off. Yeah, and then they injected, you know, poop into my chimney.
Oh.
You know, my Christmas stocking got a hole in my Christmas stocking. But it wasn't really my Christmas stocking, it was my chimney. But it wasn't really my chimney, it was my reproductive organs.
Oh wow.
So my pitch to the theater thing was like, evolve the compost. You know, if we could rearrange that sequence of events in my childhood, and you know, flash forward to like 27 years later, it would make for a good movie, and it would make for we could bring justice to a lot of those kids that were abducted.
Okay, so not only were they doing medical and like insurance fraud on you, but you had all these surgeries. You not only they did something to your back or to your body, which they implanted a bad mesh, and you had to get that taken out.
Yeah, well, and now I have a class action lawsuit because it was medical malpractice. It's not my back. It's my pack.
Right. So they've been going after your pack for
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah, they profit from me going to the hospital.
Oh.
That's like as simple as terms. Because white collar crime, it's so difficult to prove that. So yeah, they essentially they turned me into a drug dog.
Really?
Made these kids into drug dogs. Yeah, and they I spent my life shuffled in and out of hospitals. You know, living without my biological father or any notion of my biological father.
Mm-hmm.
I was like abducted. I was adopted by my family. Like you know how a kid has to stay with their mom.
Mm-hmm.
Can't they can leave their dad, but they have to stay with their mom.
Mm-hmm.
My my foster dad, my biological dad's brother from a different father.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gave me up when I was a kid, and my adopted father's name is on my birth certificate, so it's like legitimate. Um, my mom could get in a lot of trouble for like not reporting this childhood sexual assault. She could get in a lot of trouble for not putting the correct father on the birth certificate. And so she's like refusing to help me. She doesn't want to help me. She's like, oh well, too bad. You know, you just gotta cut your losses, man. Like it really angers me because she wants me to give up on this interrupting child trafficking thing.
Wow. Is she
Yeah.
scared?
Yeah. There's like reason for her to be scared. My sister's dad is like he's like a psycho, meth head. He's like smoking meth out in Whitey Boulder, Colorado. He's like missing all his teeth, and
He's like an old hippie, so that went crazy, basically.
yeah, well, he's an old biker.
Oh.
He's like an old biker, dude. There's this place called St. Nick's,
Mm-hmm.
and St. Nick's Social Club in Batavia, New York.
Mm-hmm.
Batavia is in between Rochester and Buffalo, New York, upstate New York, like right over my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a place where it's Saint Nick, Saint Nick.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Satanist social club where they all like get other bikers together and they plan their child sacrifice or whatever. You ever seen the movie Rosemary's Baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. My mom said, yeah, we noticed there was something wrong with Trevor's eyes at a very early age.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, there's something wrong with my doodle thing,
Mm-hmm.
my doodle hammer.
Right.
And I don't know what to do about it, Mom, because if I get into a relationship, well, this is where it gets like personal, but every relationship that I get in is like I'm inadequate or I'm impotent. I was like rendered impotent as a child. So now I'm like, I got audited. I was 28. My rights to privacy, my rights to having my private quarters, my private thoughts, my rights against people stalking me and following me around all the time, been completely stripped. So I'm just like floating around as this like impotent, 33-year-old, 7-year-old man, and I don't know. It isn't very fun. It's not. It's all they do is laugh at me, and for being an impotent 33-year-old man. When it's something that's out of my control, it wasn't a choice that I made. It's because of somebody putting me to sleep and deliberately infecting my reproductive organ with disease, and excessive amounts of surgery because of that. And that's why people don't understand that. They would rather just, look, Trevor's got a tiny little wiener or whatever. It's been my entire life. It's been 34 years of this nonsense. And that's why they did it, so that other people would just publicly humiliate me and just shame me to death, so that they get away with it.
Oh, yeah, and there was this guy, Brian, too, and he talks about the ridicule that a lot of gang stalking victims have, even though it's serious, but it sounds crazy, but it's not crazy. It's completely plausible if you just listen to what these people are actually saying, because some of these people, they have documentation, they can prove it, but,
Yeah. Well, I had hospital stuff, like hospital analysis, and what they did is they they edited all my protected health information. They went in there and they changed it. 'Cause I was complaining about sexual molestation when I was like 18, right after my dad died. I checked myself into the hospital, and I was complaining about sexual assault. And there was a guy there at the hospital in Virginia that was from San Francisco, and he went to college in my little small town of Franklin, Massachusetts. So there's like the chances of that happening, of me running into that guy, are like slim to none. So I know that they've been watching me. They've been keeping tabs on me for a long time. He knew about. He went to Dean College, this little tiny little college in Franklin, Massachusetts, and there was around the time of these kids getting abducted. There were fires going on in Franklin, the Franklin fires. Like a dormitory caught on fire because of incense. And I was lighting fires. Kids were lighting fires. It was like a natural response to, my candle wick being lit on fire. I was picking up cigarettes off the ground and lighting them and smoking them. I think that was like a natural response to not being able to do anything about this. So I don't know, Trev. I don't know what happened. Maybe when you're older you'll know. And then, it was just memory repression after that. And then, years after I recovered from the car wreck, I just had confrontation after confrontation with these people, with Billy Bulger, or Bob Bulger, whatever he changed his name to. Trainwreck was over there. Another guy, Ron.
Yeah.
That was in my neighborhood when I was a kid. They were all over there. Fort Collins, Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, Rochester, New York, Richmond, Virginia, San Francisco, where I just was. Ron was there. Paul Giardino was there. And Paul Giardino's mom's boyfriend or whatever it was that was doing it's the Bob Bulger, Billy Bulger, Whitey, Rusty Bulger.
That's the Italian lady who's involved with this drug running or whatever.
Yeah, they Paul Giardino, he stole a video that I didn't delete. He stole it from me and he took it to his dad. And his dad's like, he's Whitey. His dad's Rusty. I don't know if it's his real dad, but it's his mom's boyfriend. And they specialize in like child pornography. And he took my little thing that regardless, it's stupid, whatever. He stole it from me and took it to him. And that guy, he made like thousands of dollars off that. And he gave it all to Paul Giardino. He opened up like a Spot coffee. He opened up he's just spoiled, rotten kid, because they're making money off of like pornography, like child pornography and stuff, and they're investing. It's really sad. I feel like the world is ending.
I feel like the world is going to the hell in the handbasket. You want some cold chocolate? I put these in the refrigerator.
No, it's okay.
Good. Okay.
Some guy gave me some free ice cream yesterday and almost took my teeth out.
Oh, really? So you have like bad teeth?
No, I have good teeth.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the ice cream was just too frozen. It had been too frozen for too long.
Oh. So Boulder, Colorado, or that place that you told me about is where all the military bases, like a really bad place.
Yeah, there's a lot of them around Colorado. When I was hanging out with Bob, with Bill Bulger in Rochester, that was before I really knew that it was there was him that did the thing. That was before I knew that. But before I left Rochester for Colorado, I was hanging out with him at a bar, and then he was like, "You want to come back to our house, hang out for a bit, have another beer?" And we were hanging out on his porch, and just for no reason, he says, "Trevor, would you just go upstairs? Go up into my apartment, and just go up there and go in there and come back out." And that was it. and it was like he knew that Dorian had taken me inside his house when I was a kid.
Oh.
Yeah, so I owe Dorian, my colored friend, the only colored friend in Franklin. I owe him like big time because he identified the man who did that to me, and yeah, it's probably gonna help with my older sister. She thinks it won't matter later on. She thinks it won't matter when she finds out her father isn't really the man who she thought it was, or she finds out that she was touched, and she thinks it doesn't matter. She grew up with a developmental disability, but we wouldn't really talk about it. She just has borderline autism, and I think that's the cause of autism. The cause of types of autism are unresolved childhood trauma, in particular sexual trauma. I'm praying that she's not going to have some residual from having these repressed memories. In particular, I think it's just going to lead to cancer or something, some kind of physical ailment. If she doesn't deal with it properly.
So, like I said last night, someone was saying that the military bases around Colorado is really bad with sex trafficking, drug trafficking.
Yeah, I met a guy who worked for the government, and he was in Fort Collins, and he wrote. I spent time in jail with him. And he left this letter there that was there's child human trafficking in Fort Collins, and I can prove it. We didn't go into much further detail about it, but I found that same letter. I don't know what kind of hookup he has working for the government, but I found that same letter that he was writing when I was cellmates with him. It was a year later. Yeah, I got put in the same cell or something. That letter was still there in the desk. So I took it, I photocopied it, I uploaded it to Twitter, and it was Kevin Chimo, who actually is from Malibu. He lived in Malibu for a while, he was telling me. I took that letter and I photocopied it, I uploaded it to the internet.
And you read it?
My Twitter.
Okay.
I have a bunch of different ones. There's Reddit, there's 2 different pages for Reddit. Then there's a Twitter, there's a Facebook. There's another one, a blog, regarding breaches of my Fourth Amendment rights, and how I've been being gang stalked, and how I'm trying to go about holding these people accountable for gang stalking me.
Right. I'm trying to find a pen so you can write it down.
Hold on.
Let's see if I can get this. I got you some paper. Make some room for it.
Write down my Facebook first. It's all public. It should be. Oh, damn.
So do you think they were trying to make you impotent because of your dad? Because your dad and your mom loved each other, and this Rusty guy just hated that fact?
Yeah, he hated the fact that she had a kid with somebody else, and that kid was me. He told me just recently, 2017, 2018, in Boulder, he said, "I'm sorry, Trevor, I love that woman." And then he did his impersonation of my mom, and it was really creepy. He's a motherfucker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very old company, and that's exactly what it is. It's called Spice. He said it's a very old spice company, and
It had nothing to do with like deodorant or whatever.
no,
Oh,
no, no. It was. At first, it was like pay-per-view things and phone sex, and excuse me, sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
mhm,
They have like a clubhouse, which is a homeless shelter out there in Boulder,
mhm.
and there's a lot like Sinead O'Connor, like she's familiar out there. A lot of famous people know about it. Will Ferrell, I met Will Ferrell. I met Sharon Stone. I met the guys from like the band Metallica.
Mhm.
You know the song Enter Sandman?
Yeah.
It's like Enter Spice Enterprise.
Mhm.
Um, Sleep with One Eye Open, because I was like, I will remember waking up, and I was like just trying to watch them and what they were doing to me. And Sleep with One Eye Open, clutching your pillow tight, your pillow.
Mhm.
Um,
So the pillow's your tongue.
yeah, but yeah, well, the pills.
Oh,
The
oh.
pills are like what they were investing in with pills.
Mhm.
They were abducting and trafficking children for pills and for you know stupid bath salt research chemicals.
Mhm. The
Uh,
spice company that's involved with the old Kodak company.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They're part of the reason why I think Kodak went underground. They closed out. They closed out a deal, and then they gave everybody a bunch, like severance checks. They were employing like everyone in Rochester. Everybody in Rochester worked for Kodak in the 80s and 90s. It used to be like a really blossoming city. It was really booming. And then New York City and Rochester flipped, or New York City flipped with a lot of them, like Albany and Syracuse, and a lot of the upstate cities became more hood, more ghetto, and New York City just got bigger and bigger.
Mhm.
Um, like Attica Prison is outside Batavia, uh, in between Buffalo and Rochester.
Mhm.
But yeah, there were toxic chemical spills, and there were people from Kodak who were hiring children and for research for toxic pharmaceutical development.
Oh wow. And that guy who did all that stuff to you, to your body, and to your male member,
Yeah,
was all involved in that.
yeah, yeah. Whitey Bulger, their entire family does it. I don't know. It would have been something that was like his dad and his dad's dad and his dad's dad's dad. A family enterprise.
Of these criminals.
Hmm.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, yeah.
You got your Reddit page? You said you got like a whole
Sorry.
bunch of it.
Yeah, I get distracted.
No.
My Facebook thing has links to everything.
Mhm.
So just on like the front page of my profile, you can access everything. Uh,
Well, that's fucked up. That's like so many people are just taking chemicals from a chemical spill and ingesting it into their bodies.
yeah,
Some you say was like for fun, and others they were like given to them forcefully for sex
yeah,
trafficking.
yeah, yeah. They started coming out with medications that were suspiciously sounded like friends I had or like friends on Facebook.
Right.
Because all the information that you enter in there, it's all still up there. No matter if you delete it, it's still up there. The NSA and pharmaceutical companies, they were pharmaceutical companies. Like there's my good friend Alexa,
Mhm.
Celexa,
Right.
Zach, Prozac,
Whoa. Really? Oh.
Lexapro,
Mhm.
um, and they've been my friends since childhood. So like risperidone,
Mhm.
um, it's called risperidone. And I had childhood friend named Perry,
Oh, really?
and it's called Invega. And last time I talked to Perry, what he was doing was he was in Las Vegas. So it's like they're coming out with these pharmaceuticals that have like funny names, but they'll have like my mom's name you know, like my dad's name,
Mm-hmm.
and like some like intimate detail, like concerning these medications. So it was really started freaking me out, man. It's like they had these subliminal messaging, dude. That I just didn't want to. I didn't want to take the medication anymore. I didn't want to be hogtied to the pharmaceutical industry, the insurance companies.
They're doing putting the penny pinching off the insurance policies.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when you were saying that, I thought they actually put a penny inside your body. Because I never heard about it.
No, penny pinching is like, you know, half a cent,
Mm-hmm.
like AFA is like Hell's Angels. They do that. The Anti-Federalist,
Right.
Fallen Angel. The AFA cent thing is it's how they get away with insurance fraud.
Oh, okay.
So they only take like 0.0002 of a penny,
Mm-hmm.
and then after a while that accumulates, and they start having full pennies, and they start having quarters, and then like 27 years will pass, and you could pay for your kids' college tuition, you know. But where that money stems from was a childhood abduction, you know. And usually the kid in the gang who they're siphoning these um, embezzled insurance premiums,
Mm-hmm.
the kid is usually the lame one, like the runt of the litter,
Right.
the stone the builder refused.
Mm-hmm.
It's like biblical. So that like the one man sacrifice, one person, one human sacrifice for the good of everybody else in the gang.
Mm-hmm.
So like that one kid, every time he goes to the hospital, the rest of the gang gets product,
Mm-hmm.
and then they go out and they make their money, and then you know beat the shit out of the runt of the litter. So he goes back to the hospital. Every time he goes back to the hospital, they just take all this money out of his insurance thing, and they get away with it. It was a computer company called Tandem Computers.
Right.
They were big in the late 80s and 90s. They were responsible for like America Online. They were responsible for like compact computers, Sun Microsystems, and they had a lot to do with the foundation of the internet in Northeast, at least. Yeah, I have a feeling they did it with the computer company. They're all very technically savvy. It's strange because you wouldn't think that for being a bunch of like scummy old guys that just help each other get away with raping little babies. You wouldn't think that they would be like tech savvy,
Right.
know? But they are. They're legitimate racketeering organization, a legitimate corrupt organization.
Wow. Well, I
Yeah.
guess you gotta be smart to do this and not get caught.
Yeah, yeah. I think it might have been something like his dad taught him. You know what I mean? And his dad's dad taught him. You know, that would have to be like a family secret, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I reported it as. Is that they benefit from me? They benefit from me going to the hospital, and that was right. You know, it wasn't that difficult to see that they were taking full advantage of me. So I just got sick of it. I got sick of taking the medication. I ran away, went AWOL from the hospital, got drafted. Uh, they put they call it a spider
Mm-hmm.
up your nose, like some military spying technology. So like right now, I don't mean to freak you out or anything, but somebody is like, um, somebody knows that I'm talking to you.
No, I don't care.
Okay, because there's a little spider thing that went up, crawled right up inside my nose, and it never got out. And I don't know, they called it a spider.
And this dude who'd been torturing called it that.
No, this was from the Union.
Okay.
There's Union gangsters, and which are the ones that want to just like farm my thoughts and make a movie out of it. Those are the good ones. But there's other ones that are just mad at me for calling the cops on them. They're one for calling me a snitch for reporting this guy for raping me.
Okay.
They're angry at me. They'll poison my food. They'll spit in my coffee. There's like been there's like semen on cheeseburgers.
Oh, really?
That I have to eat this because they're angry at me because they call me a snitch. I'm a cop caller. I called the cops on a guy who raped me when I was a child.
And
And
it had
that's it.
nothing to do with your mom's boyfriend or mom's ex-husband who, Rusty. This is totally something that's different. Who raped you?
Rusty rapes me, yeah. But it wasn't until 2015 that I went AWOL from the hospital.
Okay.
So while I was going AWOL, I was working for the union.
This is the writers union?
Yeah.
So you was in the writers union. You
For
joined
working for theater. Yeah.
for theater.
Concerts.
And you joined their union. And then they decided to put a device into your nose called the spider.
After I ran away from them, yeah. I ran away, I went AWOL from the hospital, I OD'd, and ran away from the hospital, yanked the IV out of my arm.
After you saw that video of your accident.
Yeah, this has just been cumulative over a long period of time. While I was working for the union, I had people climbing up my fire escape to demand money from me that I didn't know them. You know, I had people, fucking with me all the time, and it was the Rusty guy in Rochester, and they're the ones who probably subliminally, like, coerced me into ODing, and then I woke up in the hospital. Fuck, I don't want to be here. I don't want to stay in the 5150 or whatever. So I yanked the IV out of my arm, and when I went AWOL to Colorado is when they got me. Is when they got the spider thing. It was like Brad Pitt to give me this spider thing.
Oh.
So they're the ones who are farming my story and trying to create a movie out of it. And then I have these other stalkers who are like completely separate. They're the ones who claim that I owe them money, that are pissed at me because I interrupted their drug trafficking. When I reported this guy for raping me, I interrupted a lot of traffic.
Oh.
So people are really angry at me.
The thing is with me, that what makes it interesting, for the last couple of days, it felt like somebody been hitting me in the nose, like right in the middle of the street. Like I was talking to one gang stalking victim in Venice, smack in the nose, just like that. Then I was in Santa Monica, and this was middle of the day, and people were eating at the promenade, smack. I have no idea what that's about, and nobody looked weird.
Painful?
Yeah, it's painful, just like that. Just look a bit harder. No, because with me, I get the taps and the feel like people are touching my eyebrow or touching like this on my cheek and then like that. But sometimes there's no one there and I still feel it. So I feel like people are actually hitting me, and then I feel like this technology is giving me phantom touches. But you're talking about this spider thing, like could that be going on with me? That's what I figured.
I think you would have to have some involvement in the union to be able to get one of these things.
Oh.
I don't know though. I don't know. I know they gave it to me because they knew it to be true. They knew that I was abused when I was a child, and they knew that I would be able to make money with a movie thing. They knew I would be able to make my money that way instead of going the hard way and finding a legal representative and going and finding this guy. And he's all over the United States. How am I supposed to like track him down? And, it seems like it's a lost cause. So I'm just trying to be grateful that people have been listening to me, at least from the movie industry.
That's weird. Well, all that talent in that movie industry, they're doing that weird shit.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Because like they're it's like a form of hollowing. It feels like you're getting like excavated. Like you're walking around and you're having these thoughts, and you hear these thoughts coming out of other people's conversations, and you're like, wow, I was just about to think that. But it's like at first it's like, oh no, it's just a trick, But after a while, that is real. That is real technology. That this thing just in your nose can, like it knows what your windpipe is processing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I don't even really have to say anything. I'm just trying to prove that this guy is, stalking me that's the reason why he's stalking me.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but Dr. John Hall said that there was something that they can do with your windpipe as well, and they can get the electric impulses, and then they can figure out what you're actual thinking, because you think it, and then you prepare your vocal box to say it, and they're getting the basically the impulses of your thoughts, and then putting it into an algorithm, and they can get it that way.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of weird, and then you
Too
said,
unpredictable.
yeah, and then you said that that's the machine that's in your voice box. You said something. That's what's going on with your voice box.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I hear like this twin tone thing.
Oh.
I don't know. San Francisco has this like spy museum, and I was gonna go there, and I was gonna go see if they had any of these little spider things there. It's weird technology. I know the same thing happens to people when they get drafted in the military.
Right.
Just to make sure everyone in the squadron is on the same page, they get a spider thing in their nose so that everybody's thoughts, one person's thoughts, is everybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
To solidarity or whatever. And
Like the cybernetic hive mind that Elon Musk was talking about.
yeah.
Now the thing is, there was somebody else that talked about there's a chip in her eye, and you have the same chip in your eye.
Yeah, I remember this guy threw something at me, and it like landed on my nose, and then it crawled right in to my eye patch, under my eye patch. Now it's still in my eye because there's this like strobe light thing in my right. It seems like it would normally like give me a seizure, but it's a strobe light in my right. I never knew they had this kind of technology. I never would have offered myself up, to do this. I never would have offered myself up to the union, to the surveillance. I never would have. I didn't really want to be this famous. I thought that I could just make my story famous, and then everything would just naturally work itself out. Like people aren't going to stand for these people abducting and trafficking children. They're not going to stand for that. And you'd be surprised because there's like the other aspect where they have to really get under your skin. They have to like poke and prod you to get it out of you if they're the ones making the movie.
So they had to get you angry so you can think all these ideas.
Yeah, so they like getting me angry for some reason. It's about the passion that they're making the movies with.
Right.
But yeah, that's about it. They were just drug addicts, and they would do anything for heroin to get their next hit or whatever.
And these are the people who you say are the good gang stalkers in the union that put you put stuff in your eye.
The spider? Yeah, those are the good ones.
Those are.
Yeah, Denver Local 7. I got drafted. Like the same thing happened to somebody if they got drafted in the military, back in the 1960s.
So you're like paying your dues, basically.
Yeah.
By you becoming more robotic in nature, having the cyber.
Artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Oh, so you willingly did that? No,
yeah.
Except for the eye stuff, they just threw that at you, but.
Yeah, well, I think this is part of the truth deduction.
Mm-hmm.
Like the hollowing, it brings it out of you. If you have any problems, it'll bring it out. You'll start talking about it. They're very good at what they do. The television and movie, they're very good at it. You heard of Scientology?
Yeah.
Like the
gang stalkers, yeah.
Yeah, like the study of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the ones who taught me about the biometric facial recognition and the study of like syncing up like a body movement of yours to
identify you
to a thought that you had or to something that you posted online or a comment that you had or an opinion you have on something. Yeah, they're doing that because that's like 1984 George Orwell stuff with the 24 hours a day, 7 days a week surveillance, and they have these advanced cameras that can detect even like a little twitch in your face, and then they know exactly what you're thinking because of that. And what we're gonna have is all these transparent people walking around. Everybody already knows everything about them. You know, with like the Google Glass or whatever, the NSA technology. Scary stuff.
Alright, okay, so not only did you join the theater guild or theater union or the writers guild version of the theater, and they decided to induct you into their union and put all that stuff in you.
Yeah, just a way to provide my service.
Oh, okay. The way to provide your service, but you're running away from them now because they're evil?
No, I'm just running for the sake of running.
Oh, okay. So they decided not to help you against these other gang stalkers that have been raping you?
The union's still helping me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my cousin, who I don't really know very well, is on my mom's side. My mom, my cousin, he married like Quentin Tarantino's like stepdaughter or something.
Oh, okay.
She has the same last name. So I was hoping, I've been in contact with a lot of people. So like the people from the movie company and the cinema and concert and theater, they're still helping me. But they're helping me get these other guys off my back, like Trainwreck and Whitey Bulger. I mean, they're not going to stand for those people, even though they sometimes act like, you know, they're on their side. I needed the devil's advocate. Oh. You know. Oops.
Well, hopefully Rusty, I know it's got water all over that thing. Yeah. But hopefully Rusty gets his comeuppance, because he sounds like a horrible guy.
Yeah. There's so much music too, like that came out in the early 1990s. Mm-hmm. There's so much music that revolves around that. The Cranberries with Zombie. Yeah. Another Child is Taken. Another life lowly, like another child is abducted. You know, it really there's a lot of good music out there that helps me. It helps me deal with the memories and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much everything.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of reading. There's like Light in August by William Faulkner. That's a really good one because it goes back to like Civil War times, and there's a battle of Milton's Bend, and there's a neighborhood like right next door to my house, and when I was a kid called Milliken's Bend, and that's where there's like a golf course. There's a golf course right there, and they had a big frog, like a Budweiser frog. The golf course was shaped like a Budweiser frog. Right. And they were the companies who were bringing in like cocaine and stuff. Oh, you know, Budweiser and Coca-Cola.
Oh, back in the day.
Yeah. Oh. And we were right on the border of Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Family Guy talks about Franklin, Massachusetts. I could have rode my bike down the street and been in Rhode Island. There's like a lot of mafia activity in Rhode Island. It's like a tiny little. Everybody just overlooks Rhode Island. Nobody bothers to look there. Right. But some statistic is like where the most Colombian Americans live, and it was like New Jersey, Rhode Island. Oh wow. Like you think about like New Jersey mafia in New York City. Is probably a whole shit ton of like drug activity over there. Wow. Which I don't really care. I don't really care about the drug activity as long as they're not
raping kids.
Yeah, in order to get it. Yeah. But like Kodak, going back to the Kodak, they were the ones that came out with like Xanax, Xanny bars. You think about the word Kodak. It's like they just like rearrange the letters to make the Xanax. And I mean they made Valium. They do a lot of like Pfizer Pharmaceuticals right outside Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Like right across the river from the Hershey chocolate factory is like they share water with Pfizer Pharmaceutical factory.
So they could be leaking drugs into the water supply.
Yeah, they do it on purpose to silence whistleblowers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
I
crack on
thought,
people's food.
oh, I thought they were just drugging, like, the populace down, trying to, get them to not give a fuck, basically.
Yeah, population control.
Mind control, yeah. Yeah.
They fuck with the trends too.
Oh, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
artificial trends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Kodak company, I met the guy who, it was like, I was dating his daughter. I met he was like a head chemist at Kodak, and his daughter, I dated his daughter while I was in rehabilitation for my brain surgery in Rochester. I dated his daughter, and I went to Naples, New York, and in Naples, New York was Rusty Bulger and the head chemist from Kodak and his daughter, Catherine, who I was dating at the time. I didn't even really like her, but it was like obviously it was a setup because they were gonna send her down, and she was gonna, I don't know, what, laugh at me, what, belittle me, whatever,
Right.
subtly coerce me into ODing or whatever on her dad's medication. And that's what happened. It was Rusty Bulger, the head chemist from Kodak, and the head chemist's daughter, Catherine. Um, yeah, you think about like Kodak and then COVID. COVID outside and like the coronas, North Corona, North Korea, because Trump was big in upstate New York. He's like a Rockefeller,
Right.
Rockefeller, upstate New York, Rochester, to Rockefeller Plaza in New York City, Trump Tower. Uh, uh, they rigged the election. George
2016.
Bush.
Oh.
You remember George Bush?
I remember that Florida shit.
Florida, yeah. Taddeo, the family Taddeo, their like mom, sister, aunt, or whatever. Senator Anne Marie Taddeo, is from Florida. She lives in Florida, the same county where they were rigging the election. They were confusing everything. She did the same thing to me. She made my vote for Barack Obama not count. She looked at my choice when I penciled it in, because I was able to do that because I worked in the county or whatever, but I wasn't registered. I penciled it in, and she looked at my vote for Barack Obama, and she said, "Okay, fine," and she took it. And then I received a letter in the mail saying that my vote didn't count because of some bogus reason. But yeah, that's Batavia, New York, linked in with Naples, New York, and Kodak. I think Kodak's retaliating because of all this information that's been offered up. They're retaliating with COVID. Another thing, I've recently been having memories from when I was in the hospital, when I was in a coma. And I was talking to one of the doctors there, and he said, I remember saying to him, is there any way that we can make sure that I get money from these guys? Because that they rape me when I was a kid. And he said, the doctor said to me, yeah, there's a way. I was like, I had just woken up. I was a day away from having a hole put in my throat, tracheotomy, so I could breathe. He said there is a way that you could do that, but when you offer up the information, it's going to be like war. They're going to retaliate, and it isn't going to be like gunfire. It's going to be disease. And he said that to me back in 2006. And this is going on right now when I'm offering up all this information about Kodak. So like Kodak is like 5-letter word, and COVID 5-letter word, and Xanax 5-letter word, and just suspicions, speculations. But I think they are legitimately retaliating against this. They have they had a bunch of kids. They had a bunch of abducted babies.
So that's why you keep the eye patch over your eye so they don't look at it, and so they don't see nothing.
No, I don't think anyone would be able to see the. I think more. The thing is designed um, to document my movements, my eye movement.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think it's the actual camera or anything. I think it just documents my movements for the union or whatever.
Oh, so you don't want them to track you, so that's why you wear it.
Oh, but no, I've been wearing my eye patch for a long time. It's been a lifelong condition. And the guy Rusty used to hang out at this house in Rochester. The one house where he said, "Trevor, would you just go upstairs, go up into my apartment, and come back down?"
Right.
Yeah, and that was just 2015. But that was the same guy, and it was his friend had a girlfriend. They were both an older couple, and I knew the guy's girlfriend, nice Native American woman. I knew her better than I knew him, and I didn't like the way he was talking to her. He was yelling at her, and I interrupted him. I said, "Bert, you're yelling again, Bert. Why are you yelling?" And just kind of a smart alecky remark, and he jumped on top of me and hit me like a dozen times.
Oh.
So now my right eye is like retarded.
Oh.
So yeah, but I think it's more just getting more material for the writers. There's some kind of technology that they do.
Oh.
And this is probably synced in with this thing in my nose.
Yeah, that's fucked up. No, I have no idea, but with me, I broke my ankle in New York City. They took me to Bellevue. Now, what they've been doing is they've been fucking with me. This ankle was broken. They wanted to put plates and screws.
Yeah.
But you had one guy said, hint, hint, wink, wink, you don't need it. So just say no. Okay. And then it was so weird. I got kicked out of the apartment at Alexandria Hotel after me standing up to those radical terrorists, socialists call me Marxist, satanic trash because they were lying to Mexicans saying that California was stolen from Mexico, which is not true. They treated Guadalupe Hidalgo. They chose not to tell them that so they can get all riled up and fight on their behalf, become militant. So I told them the truth about the School of the Americas and about Iran Contra, and I'm like, hey, watch these videos, watch these documentaries. It's more it's more complex than you know. America did a whole bunch of evil shit, but it's not really America. It's these satanic motherfuckers involved in the military and the State Department and all this other bullshit. So and yet some of them are funding your movement. So anyway, I've been gang stalked at the Alexander Hotel, had my apartment broken into, blah blah blah. One of them was nice enough to give me a heads up that my lease would not be renewed at the end of the year. So I started packing up, and I was hitting voice to skull technology. I wasn't being hit with direct energy weapons, but they were breaking in my apartment, drugging, and stealing shit from it. I got kicked out of that apartment. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get kicked out. I dropped the lease, and then I decided to go to protest to Washington and to New York about what happened. And like I was gonna go to the FBI building, and I'm like, you motherfuckers. So when I was in New York, I had a tarot card reading. Like I got tarot cards in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to do them on the regular, but they keep fucking with my spirituality.
Yeah.
And I do less and less of them.
I used to do tarot too.
Oh.
Oh, those are good ones. It's the Rider Waite.
Yeah, the Universal.
Yeah.
They keep fucking with my spirituality. And one of the whistleblowers said that the gang stalkers and they can control your mind. They will take away your spirituality and try to record it digitally so it becomes theirs. So I'm like, my spirituality is mine. Thank you. It's not yours. No, that's what I told them with my head. It's like my spirituality, my belief system to my deity is mine. And then eventually I started becoming more and more of an atheist. Anyway, did a tarot card reading. They told me bad stuff was going to happen. I had the 5 of cups, that's 5 of wands. And you remember the 5 of wands, no, 5 of pentagrams, sorry, pentacles.
Coins.
Yep.
That's me.
It was upside down, and they said if I go to New York, something bad will happen. I went to New York, I was there less than 24 hours, broke my ankle. Yes, and when I was going into their ambulance, they dropped the bed.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they dropped the bed. It was horrible. Anyway, so I was being tortured at that hospital. They decided to take me out of the cast. They decided to cast my ankle wrong several times. Then they had to recast me. And what they'll do is it's really painful when they put you in that cast. You see the videos. It's really, really painful. And they must hold you in a particular spot until the cast hardens. They will fucking up that cast on purpose so it doesn't harden as fast as it possibly can to prolong my torment. And I was screaming so bad. Then they decided, oh, I guess what, since you're screaming when we put this cast on you, and since you can't keep on doing it, you keep screaming, so we're going to drug you. So they decided to give me drugs, but they cast me anyway before the drugs took in. And I'm like, okay, well then why did you give me all these drugs if the casts were on like that? And then I went down to the basement, got an x-ray done. And that's when I think they put chips in me.
Yeah.
So it's like here, one right here, and one right here. And it's zap, 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 all the time.
They put a tapeworm in you?
I had no idea about a tapeworm, but I know they put chips in me. I'm pretty sure that I was drugged. They did something to me. These La Raza motherfuckers, they jabbed me right here. On downtown Los Angeles, just poof, in the middle of the night.
Wait, they stabbed you? Or was in the hospital? Or?
Well, after I left this was before I went to the hospital. I lived downtown Los Angeles at the Alexander Hotel. It was run by that little commie group. These La Raza motherfuckers just jabbed me. I had no idea, but I keep getting jabbed in the arm and jabbed in the leg. What they'll do is it will be at night. They walk in a group and do that. One person will just jab, and it will not be on camera. Nobody in the group knows about it. So I would just walk in. If I see a group of people, I would just walk away. Just you know. They were doing a whole bunch of weird shit. They tried to destroy my liver. You alright?
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried. I should have been dead like 6 months. No, like a year ago. They tried to destroy my liver. Downtown Los Angeles was having a hepatitis infection, and one person died. I should have been like the second person. I was on death door. My abdomen was literally like this.
Yeah, Rochester's full of rotten people. They gave everybody hepatitis A in the church communal coffee.
Oh,
really? Yeah, the church is called the Blessed Sacrament. It's by a guy they call George Barney. It's his Blessed Sacrament. He gets he takes, I don't know what the hell he do. Hepatitis A, which is like just like shit, right? And like salmonella. And he put it inside the communal coffee at the Blessed Sacrament. Everybody from there went to the hospital. Everybody was like throwing up. They're just terrible people. They're bored. And then there's bored kids who are just like fucking with people. Like they'll poison the soup kitchen food. And it's really a rotten place. I don't know what is wrong with people up there. It must be something in the water. It must be the toxic chemical spill from late 70s, 80s. Because the people in Rochester, they look different. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a genetic mutation, but now I realize it's probably because all the research chemical development up there. Yeah.
Hopefully your sunburn heals up.
Yeah. I don't have good, I'm not pretty good in the sun. I have lotion though, I'll be okay.
So that's why you wear that back brace?
Just because my bag is so heavy, yeah.
Oh.
Feels better at the end of the day.
Mm. So what does that tattoo stand for in the back? I thought that was a military
This
thing.
one?
Yeah.
That's the Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead?
Yeah, it's called a Steely.
Oh.
The 13-pointed star.
Oh.
The 13-pointed bolt in
Oh.
the middle there.
Right.
That's what I use for my, that's what I call the cesarean section.
Mm-hmm.
Was when they stole, it's called a Steely because it's steal your face.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Grateful Dead song. There's a song called Franklin's Tower. And my biological dad's name is Torres.
Mm-hmm.
And he was my guitar teacher in Franklin, so like Franklin's Torres.
Mm-hmm.
I was a product of Franklin's Tower, the song by the Grateful Dead. But yeah, I got this tattoo just as like to remember that just a drug dog.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So Franklin Tower is like when they tortured you?
No, Franklin's Tower is a song by the Grateful Dead.
All right.
Plant ice, you gonna harvest wind.
Mm-hmm.
Is a line. So if they plant spice, they're gonna harvest wind. Like people will hear about it. You know, you plant like bad feelings, like they're gonna get lost in communication.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like heresy, hearsay, and all that. In Franklin there hangs a Liberty Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Like Benjamin Franklin was the founder of Franklin, Massachusetts. And in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, there's a Liberty Bell with Benjamin Franklin. And there's like the crack in the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
involving Benjamin Franklin. But yeah, it's a Grateful Dead song. And it building a tower, like a ziggurat, like a pyramid.
Okay.
You know what I mean by that? Like a
like a step down thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like one person gets two people underneath them, and those two people get two people underneath
Oh, okay,
them.
gotcha.
It builds kind of a pyramid. So they do that with the insurance thing. And I was one of the kids where they planted spice,
Mm-hmm.
where they should, where the sun doesn't shine, where the day-o doesn't shine.
Right.
But yeah, it's just a memory of the Grateful Dead song,
Oh,
the
okay.
Grateful Dead family.
Wow, this must have did a lot to your male member. Not only did they put poo-poo and they did something to him when he was a boy, but they put spice up in there?
That's what it was. It was a precursor to LSD.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The man who did it, the Whitey Bulger guy, Rusty,
Mm-hmm.
he told me that. He told me that he did that. But you know how the mafia works. Like he'll be like, he came over to my house and just like sat down and he was like, you know, one time, a long time ago, I injected LSD into someone's penis. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, really, like, what the hell? What are you doing in my house? You know? And he didn't tell me that it was me that he did it to. It was like another member of his family, or his mafia. they're like, Trevor, you know that's you, right? You know that you did that. So like, why, Trevor? Why are you ODing why are you on this medication? Why are you ODing on this medication when you could just, all you have to do is just go uh, get indigent and then just fucking sue the guy who he's like invading my house. He's stealing my marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's fucking stealing from me. He's entering my house. He's lurking outside my house. He's like stalking me outside in his car, chilling in his car all the time, acting like he's friends with me. But then he just like harasses me all the time. Couldn't get away from it, so I OD'd and went AWOL from the hospital. Went to Colorado.
After you saw those videos.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
you joined the writers union.
Yeah, I was already part of the writers union when I saw the videos.
Right.
And then I was like, man, the evidence is really piling up. Like, I better do something about this quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to Colorado. I got picked up by the cops for interrupting traffic, and obviously the police out there, the military out there in Colorado, they knew that I had a thing. They have a thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. In your throat, your nose, and your eye.
My throat, my nose, my eye, my heart.
Oh, you got one in your heart?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a heart monitor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they made me take the whole thing. You know how Donald Trump was saying we're gonna build a wall?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's called when you get drafted. They turn you into a wall. This they call it, like when you go crazy
mm-hmm.
in the military. If you lose your mind, you go AWOL.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, it's like the same thing that happened to me when I was a kid. You know, and Donald Trump is big up in Rochester.
Right.
So that's why I have a feeling that they've rigged the election. I don't know. It just sounds like poetically, doesn't it? Because their company is rigging elections,
mm-hmm.
and they're rigging elections.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I was a kid, he said, you know, they have a president that's going to go up there. And when I was like, this was like 1993.
Mm-hmm.
He said they said to me, you know that company, the spice company or whoever fucking did the thing. He said you know they have a president. Someone's going to run for president later on.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know. My mom knew. She's like, Trevor, do you want to run for president someday? I was like, no, I don't. I don't really want to be the president. But I've been having so much attention put on me. Like I've been in the limelight since Donald Trump's been in office.
Hmm. So you saying that Donald Trump was selected, not elected, like everybody else was saying?
Yeah. I think it would have been Hillary Clinton.
Well, yeah. People saying that the reason why Donald Trump won was because he knew too much and people were trying to kill him. So the only way to protect him is for him to become president.
To make himself famous. That's kind of like what I did.
Oh.
Like witness protection, just made myself famous
Mm-hmm.
as just so that I wouldn't have to, you know. But I'm still gonna receive flack for doing that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Fame is not all it's cracked up to be. I didn't think it was gonna be that. I thought it would be more fun, but it's like everybody's just pissing me off all the time. They really do get under your skin.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that they're asking you, do you want to become president? Then they know that all this stuff is going to happen to you. You're going to be put chips in.
Probably I was going to get drafted someday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think my dad knew that. You know, my dad, the one that died when I was 18, I think he knew that. Because just a little audit, you know, just get audited, and then you get audited by the right person for the movie industry. Then, like, you're set for life. You never have to work again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was. It was, how do you invest for your child? How do you invest for a child born out of wedlock? That some other guy banged your wife and he's tricking you into raising the little shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's I feel bad because I wasn't the nicest person to him. you know, because he wasn't my actual father, and I knew that. I just had this feeling that he wasn't my actual father, and I was supposed to act like everything's normal, you know. Yeah, he died, and I think he knew that. He's like gave me clues that there was he had this brother from a different father
Mhm.
in like the same fraternity, with the same like bike, car club
Mhm.
that he was in. And like my dad, he like he hit his head. Something, he flipped a car. He was going too fast in his car and he hit his head. And um, he said that uh, he knew that the guy was banging his wife
Mhm.
because he asked to borrow my dad's car because he had flipped the car, and when he returned the van to my dad after they went on a date.
Mhm.
It gets confusing, I know. He said he knew that they were smoking weed because there were seeds in the ashtray.
So
So
it was really bad weed and it had seeds in it.
yeah, or it was just like he knew that the guy was banging his
Mhm.
wife. You
Mhm.
know, seeds in the ash, Trevor.
Oh, okay.
So he kind of like hinted to me that there was somebody else that's my dad. You know, I might have a little bit of a surprise when I get to be like 32, 33 years old.
Mhm.
Yeah, that threw me for a loop.
Hmm.
I really freaked out.
But your dad is the real dad that killed himself allegedly when you was 18.
Uh, yeah, he's not my real dad though.
Oh,
That's my dad's brother from a different father.
right, gotcha.
Like they had to stay with their mom. Um, but he like looks different. He looks different than my regular dad.
Okay, you look like a little bit like Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
He's the guy from Father's, the Bride from the 80s. Twister.
Oh, Steve Martin.
No, no, no. Some British guy. You like keep reminding me of this British guy.
Yeah.
Which he was over in Venice, by the way. Oh, that time I saw him, I'm like, you look like that dude from the Bride movie. Anyway, oh wow. Hmm. So you're saying that Donald Trump, that everybody knew that Donald Trump was going to be president?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to make money. He knows how to save money.
Mm-hmm.
Why not give him a chance? He has that Agenda 21 thing going on.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's talking about him and Hillary Clinton were in cahoots. They go to that Ottawa convention in Canada every however many years, and they talk about what's going to be the ulterior motive, the underlying tone for the agenda of the future of America, New World Order.
No, not the Bilderberg, because I think that's.
Yeah, the Bilderberg thing.
Oh, okay.
That's like the Frankenstein thing. They're building these kids, and they're like, you know, you calibrate the joystick, you know, and, like personalize your computer.
Yeah.
It's almost like they have like a company that is like, here, we'll augment, we'll calibrate your baby boy or baby girl to your liking.
Right.
And it's like, it's my computer. Why wouldn't I personalize it?
Right.
Yeah.
Genetic manipulation, right? What were you saying?
I was just gonna reference a book called The Child Buyer.
Oh.
Yeah, by a guy named John Hershey.
Ooh.
So if we think about like Hershey, Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
and the chocolate factory, and this guy, it's a play, so it's like a dialogue. The entire book is a dialogue
Mm-hmm.
between this guy who's going up against a judge, and he's propositioning him that he's like, yep, I only buy male children,
Mm-hmm.
which is the same code of ethics in like the Islamic State terrorists. Are they only they like rape their baby boy children, and then you can't do anything about it? So then they grow up, and the boys grow up really angry, and they grow up to be like suicide bombers.
All right.
Yeah, that like Sharia law. Um, oh man, there's so much. The World Trade Center, the WTC.
Yeah.
My initials are WTP,
Mhm.
and the only difference is PC
Mhm.
between the World Trade Center. Um, while I was undergoing my operation on my junk to remove the meth that was injected inside me, that was like a year after that was 9/11, when the planes went crashing into the World Trade Center in New York City. Uh, 8 months before, it was in like January of 1993, or February of 1993, there was another World Trade Center bombing. Um, international trade was getting fucked up. Shitty receipt of shitty product,
Mhm.
and they were, suicide bombers into the buildings. They're doing fertilizer car bombs
Mhm.
in the basement of the World Trade Center in Oklahoma City. There's just been so many coinciding, accidents, affecting international trade.
You said like last night that Donald Trump was after you.
No, he's been getting the attention though.
Oh.
So I kind of I'm grateful for the attention because he's like um, a third party, like my checks and balances.
Mhm.
So he's the one who's he's like a movie star, right? So he's the one who has me on on television, while I'm in perpetual confrontation with these stalkers, these people from my childhood. Um, yeah, yeah, he definitely knows who I am. He definitely knows my story, and I don't know if I've ever come across him, like if I've ever met him in my travels or not, but he's been paying particularly close attention to me. Hopefully, we'll be able to take down these child traffickers.
Yeah.
People smuggling drugs in little boys' coin purses.
Mhm.
Hopefully, we'll be able to take them down.
It's funny.
And while at the same time, I would be, excuse me for interrupting.
No, that's good.
While at the same time, I was going to try to be a statistic as to how marijuana works better than prescription medication. Like a doctor's prescription, these Prozac and Lexapro and Depakote, lithium, and all those fucking bogus suicidal pharmaceuticals. I was going to become a statistic as to how marijuana works better for victims of traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress disorder, and unresolved childhood sexual assault.
Hmm. It's something just popped out in my head. It's just like I about to talk about another gang stalking experience of mine. It just popped out. Fuck. I hate that when that happens. And now I'm gonna remember what I wanted to tell you. Like back in like hours later. It's like, oh, I want to. Yeah, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. No, but yeah, it was. Mhm. No, look. The thing is, it's about gang stalking, and what it say is fuck. Okay, never mind. Fuck it. No,
The
because
military does that too, like the MK Ultra thing.
yeah.
Yeah, they do stuff like that too, with like light therapy.
Mhm.
Um, just tons of like social experiments that they're doing. It's interesting to read about the MK Ultra stuff. Trying to think of where I have a link to it. You ever tried Scholar? Google Scholar?
No.
It has awesome articles. Like you can use the articles for college level papers, essays and stuff. Um, it's scholar.google.com. Some of them you have to buy the articles, but they're all very good. It talks about like Schrodinger's cat and the experiments with nuclear toxic chemicals, how they locked the cat in the cat box and stuck like a radioactive substance in with the cat and observed what happened with the cat after it climbed out of the box,
Right.
the Schrodinger's box. And I equated that to like being a child subject, a child that had some traumatic event happen to him in his childhood, and he's spend the rest of his life in a cat box. It's like be like a time machine, locked in there with a radioactive doctor's prescription.
Mm-hmm.
And then what would be the result? Like how would that boy or whoever recover from it? What kind of resiliency does the boy have? Is he going to be able to remember the traumatic event from his childhood post withdrawal, post delirium from the toxic pharmaceuticals? I'm gonna put it together another time. I'm gonna compile it a different way. I'm gonna get everything, put it all together, and write it up. I'm gonna make it I'm gonna write a book about it.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people who are being gang stalked should write stuff.
Yeah.
At least they didn't inject you with some type of poison or something like that.
I got very sick right afterwards. Like, see this?
What? Yeah.
That scar right there.
Yeah.
It's from a chicken pox. I came down with chicken pox. Like, right after they did that to me, I remember lying on the couch at my house, feeling like my thing was on fire, and it was chicken pox all over me, and like I came down with pneumonia. I was really sick.
That's funny. I had the chicken pox as well, and I had some type of pneumonia.
Yeah.
I had asthma, and what my mother did was something really fucking tight. Stupid, but I guess she was tired and wasn't thinking. She put tap water into my nebulizer. So all that stuff gave me a pneumonia.
Oh no.
It ruined my lungs. I used to be a sprinter. To this day. I mean, I'm fat now, but I used to be a really good sprinter.
Yeah.
It happened in middle school. Something weird happened to my lungs though, and went. Yeah, I have no idea that my lungs could do that. But I was dying. I almost died like a couple of times looking at it.
Yeah, me too. Dude, I remember that when I was a kid. Like lying on the bed naked. It was a big thing. I'm surprised I forgot about it for so long. You know, I've been abused. Like just every relationship I've been in always ends in like, Trevor, you're just not cutting it. You're not doing it. And they don't want to be mean to me, but it's like it just it doesn't work out. Yeah, more just angry at myself for forgetting about it for so long. And I don't know how I got so distracted. Well, my younger sister was born like a year after they put me to sleep and the thing. Uh, my younger sister was born, and then I was just kind of distracted. I had a younger sister. It was awesome. I had a little girl to take care of. You know, I just kind of forgot about it. And it wasn't until I had like repeated confrontations with these people who were trying to kill me. And it wasn't until I had repeated confrontations with them that I was able to articulate to what extent that they fucked me up.
Will it be after me now since you've been in my apartment?
No, they won't. I don't think they're following me anymore. It's been too long.
That's long.
It's been like 5.5 years almost.
No.
And if, like Donald Trump was on the news one time, and he goes, because I was in the hospital, I had to finish up a stint in the hospital. For, I went back to Rochester after I went AWOL from them. I went back and I finished out the rest of what I had to do. I stayed in there for like 3 weeks or whatever. And Donald Trump was on the television, and he says, Trevor, the pizza bag back is the guy. That's the guy that did it to you. So I guess Donald Trump knows the guy who raped me is. I don't know if he was ever, if he was ever directly associated with him, if he ever did business with him or anything, but he knows. At least he knows.
And this was in an interview?
No, this was just him, like on the television,
just talking.
Just a random shout out to me. Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you can write a letter to the White House. You can write an email to the White House.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
I just did it. I would never normally do that. I don't call the cops on anything. You know, I got stabbed in the neck. I got stabbed in the Paul Giardino guy, who's in Oakland and San Francisco right now. He's the guy who got me set up to get stabbed in the neck with the rusty syringe in Rochester. That was 2009. I've been stabbed in the neck, in the top of the head, in the top of my right thigh, in the top of my back thigh. And like sucker punched because of this Paul Giardino guy and his mom's boyfriend or whoever, Rusty Bulger. Yeah, I don't call the cops on anything. I didn't say anything if those people attacked me because of Paul Giardino. Yeah, the only reason I did that was because it was this serious, and they're relentlessly poking and prodding at me. So I said, Mr. Trump, I'm sorry I called you garbage, but I have these people that raped me when I was a kid. They're following me around. They're forcing me to declare bankruptcy. They, liquidated any chance of credit that I have, and I'm really getting sick of it. And he responded. He responded over one of his like breaking news things on the news. Yeah, he responded. Yeah, he said, no, that's kind of beautiful, Trevor.
Yeah, a lot of people, yeah, well, and you don't think it was voice-to-skull technology or anything like that? He actually truly just responded to you in one of his speeches or one of his interviews that he was having?
Yeah, I believe it. Because I've been everywhere, and that's what it is. It's me trying to pay forward my Social Security check. I don't think I should need I don't think anybody should have to pay for my disability besides the company, the enterprise that caused my disability. Caused my head trauma, caused my head trauma, caused surgery after surgery, relentless gang stalking, robbed my bank account. I don't think anybody should have to pay me besides the people involved. That's what it was pay forward the Social Security check to someone who needs it more than I do in exchange for, it sounds like I'm just asking for reparations, compensation from these people who fucked my whole family up.
Yeah. Well, you said that you do tarot cards, right? Where you used to.
Yeah.
So you still do? Or when the last time you read?
I don't know. I was using just a regular deck, like a standard one. Then I bought an Aleister Crowley deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aleister Crowley's a direct relative of Whitey Bulger. Looks just like him.
Oh, really?
The creepy pictures of him.
With the little
he's like bald. He looks like a bat. I don't know. He's a pretty stereotypical picture of Aleister Crowley.
With dark under eyes and stuff.
Yeah. He's a direct relative of. They're like Irish mob. He's a direct relative of the priest from the Catholic Church. Yeah, Whitey Bulger was a priest at one point. And now everybody knows what a piece of shit he is. You know, he was a priest. He was the one, you know, taking away all the sins of people, you know, confessions.
Wow. Because everybody say that George Bush's mother is related to Aleister Crowley.
George Bush's mother?
George Bush's Jr.'s mother, Barbara Bush.
I don't know. I know there's like a Bulger family legacy that even their coat of arms has arrows. Like symbolically speaking, their coat of arms has arrows going through. It's like an arrow puncturing something. I can't remember on their coat of arms, the Bulger family. But I guess it's like an Irish thing that they do that to all the runts of the litter. They get the littlest Bulgers.
Mm-hmm.
They go and they stick them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's old like folklore. I don't know why, but it creates a fundamental absence. If I were to analyze it any further, it would be it creates an autism. It creates an artist, like an autism, an Asperger's,
Mm-hmm.
like an asp is a snake, and then a burger.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing when we think about like the Build-A-Burger.
Mm-hmm.
They augment your child. They, you know, same concept as a bonsai tree.
Right.
If you trim a bonsai tree in a certain fashion, it grows a certain way.
But you cut off the top if you grow from the sides.
Yeah. And Aleister Crowley, he wrote this poem. It was supposed to be like a seance or something called I.O. Pan,
Mm-hmm.
like I open, but it was spelled I.O., like E.O., I.O. Pan. And it's all about a baby sacrifice.
Well, I didn't know this guy had a coat of arms, though.
Yeah, the Bulger coat of arms, the family, yeah, they're an Irish mob. It's Bulger and Crowley, Aleister Crowley. Like, there's old folklore, like music.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Like there's one song called Poison,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about this priest who is abusing little boys, and what they do. Like they poison the little boy. You know, it's like a man the age of his grandfather is poisoning this little boy to keep him quiet about the abuse. And it talks about like poisonous indoctrination techniques. Like Adolf Hitler he was indoctrinating his people. Talks about poisonous literature, poisonous television,
Mm-hmm.
movies, media, poisonous diet.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, then the pandemic thing.
Mm-hmm.
They came out with the pandemic right after the IO Pan
Mm-hmm.
thing. Crazy. It's crazy. I saw this this occult movie. It was from a disinformation company. They call themselves a disinfo,
Mm-hmm.
and they had an event, like an exhibition, an expo at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all about that Aleister Crowley stuff, and like Marilyn Manson was there, and a bunch of other like famous like comic book artists and stuff. And for the most part, it was really interesting. Talked about like the way the media lies to us, the way the government controls us. Talks about how our country was founded upon medicine of the highest order. So in order to develop medicine of the highest order, we would need baby sacrifices. So like thinking about it, the United States of America was born upon the souls of children that were
Right.
sacrificed to develop this medicine, this medicine of the highest order, uh, compared with like Oxford, England, and all that. Um, yeah, and then, yeah, it was our country was based on that Aleister Crowley philosophy.
That medicine. So you're saying that they would sacrifice babies?
Yeah, and they fuck up. They in my instance they molested me.
Mm-hmm.
They permanently damaged me, and then it was all about how I was going to take prescription medications for the rest of my life. If they wanted me to take medication for the rest of my life, I don't know. All the medication did was it made me forget about the abuse. And it wasn't until after I stopped taking it that I had this flight of ideas. It was probably like a little mania, a delirium. Um, I had like a creative spurt, I guess, and uh, that's when I realized like to what extent I could take this, and it's like the simplest thing. It goes in sort of many different directions. It's all up there on my Facebook and Reddit.
Okay, I got you. So I'm gonna let you go soon, but the thing is, they were talking about sacrificing babies and adrenochrome, and then Google is tied to adrenochrome, and they would take adrenochrome to talk to these deities, and the deities would give them information and knowledge.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're talking about a real drug. I don't know about adrenochrome, but what they used to do, particularly Rochester, New York, and Kodak, they have an event on Lake. They have an event on Lake Ontario called the Lake of Fire. It's on every 4th of July. Back in the day, it used to be the spot where they would abort babies. Like if there was they didn't want a mother didn't want a child, they would have a ritualistic. They would get rid of it. They would rid the mother of they would exercise the baby from there. And what they would do with the baby, the leftover fetus, you can extract it wasn't adrenochrome. It's called dimethyltryptamine.
DMT.
Yeah, and it comes out when you die. It's the thing that makes you hallucinate, and the old school way, like the original way of getting this DMT, was extracting it from a dying baby. Like if they didn't want the baby, they would beat the baby to death. It was like a very slow death. And when the baby dies, they extract the DMT from the baby fetus.
Like blood or something?
Yeah, it's called a Luciferian baby child sacrifices, like the Rosemary's Baby thing. Yeah, that was Kodak, believe it or not, that did the do-it-yourself at-home abortion kits. Like the Fourth Amendment. The 4th of July thing on Lake Ontario, where they have the event, it's like Lake of Fire. They do fireworks and stuff right there.
Have an abortion, this satanic shit, and with fireworks and an abortion. Wow.
Yeah. Nowadays, you don't need to do that. You can find it in trees. They grow it in grass and like phalaris grass and root bark and stuff. You can find it. You can find the drugs and stuff, and we know where to find them in the entheogens, and all that. We don't need to sacrifice a baby anymore.
Okay, they got it.
Yeah. Yeah, but when they did it to me, and then when we left, we got scared. We ran from Franklin, Massachusetts.
You and your family when you were the boy?
Yeah, and he said to me, Rusty Bulger. He said, "What's your favorite one, Trevor? What's your favorite marijuana? Is marijuana your favorite?" And he said, "Well, we're going to legalize marijuana, but it's going to take a long time before before it happens. And I was just a kid, and what they did with that was, like as we were leaving in our car, as we were driving away, because he was our next door neighbor, he lived in the basement next door.
Right.
As we were leaving, I smelled marijuana for the first time.
Oh.
As we were leaving.
Right.
It had to be ironic, and that was like a promise to me. He was going to find me later on in life when it was my time to go out there and get strung up there and get drafted and then do my service to the Writers Union. And at the same time, I'm going to become a positive testament as to the power of homeopathic remedies, homeopathic medicine.
Oh, now you said that they. I'm not making fun of you, but they said they would pick the runt of the litter basically and torture it, and then kill the child.
Typically, yeah, that's like gang philosophy.
Right.
The runt of the litter is gay. He's gay.
Mm-hmm.
And then they take everything from the gay kid and supplies the rest of the gang.
Mm-hmm.
The runt of the litter, that goes all the way back to like biblical, to Old Testament stuff. With the stone the builder refused has now become the head cornerstone. Because put a lot of pressure on, have like a knuckle sandwich, or have like resistance, fight the resistance. That little kid, that little runt, that Rudy, the movie Rudy.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he's fighting for his life. 25 years later, he becomes stronger than the rest of the pack.
Oh, so you were saying that you was chosen basically to lead. They kind of fucked you up.
I was an ugly kid.
Uh.
I was an ugly kid. They noticed there was something wrong with my eyes at a very early age.
Mm-hmm.
They said it just looks like a lazy eye, but it's danced. There's like something wrong done to the muscle.
Right.
Yeah. So it goes to like my eyes, like the Ides of March.
Mm-hmm.
My eye, my sides, and my size.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the simplest thing, but there's like so much you can do with it. And that's what his specialty was he was spelling a crypt. Or like spelling a movie script, an early crypt, an early death, spelling an early death for a child, like a life insurance policy, how they get money from it, and they siphon insurance premiums, like fractions of pennies, they siphon all that and then let them accumulate.
Right. No, because it seemed like they wanted to kill you and then they wanted to set you up for greatness after they tortured you.
Yeah. They said to me, a man came to my house and he said, you sold your soul, right? I was like, what? I didn't do that. And I was just a kid. Like, what? Then why can't I play guitar?
Right.
You sold my soul. And who did that, right? That guy's the devil, like the Deo. The guy's the devil. He said, what do you want to be when you grow up? Do you want to be a rock star? Do you want your face on the cover of Rolling Stone? He said, do you want to be, what Looney Tunes character do you want to be? Do you want to be Tweety Bird? Do you want to be Roadrunner? He said, do you want to be the Tasmanian Devil? And he's like, all right, you're going to be the Tasmanian Devil. Remember that. You're going to be Taz. And I've been just like sitting around, twiddling my thumbs for 25 years, waiting for these people to come back and just let me know that, it's time to go do that thing. Just do your thing. We'll get you that money. Just don't worry about it. Just do your thing and then you'll be set.
Yeah, there was this weird thing. I was 6 years old, and I sold my soul. Well, I just said it. I don't think I really did, but it freaked me out for decades. It was like I was watching television, and I said, I will sell my soul. I was like 6 years old for like a milkshake. And then my mom came home with a milkshake. And I was like, I drank a little bit of it, and then it hit me, and I freaked the fuck out. Oh, well, I don't think I sold my soul, but I freaked the fuck out for like days. For some McDonald's shit. Yeah, but then a whole bunch of weird shit started. Yeah, and like you sold yourself for some McDonald's, so congratulations, you got it. No,
I
it,
would have done buyer's or seller's remorse.
yeah, yeah, extremely. Like, I was 6, right? Like, too late. No, the thing was, after that, some weird shit started happening. Okay, did you watch Nickelodeon growing up?
Yeah.
Okay, you remember the cartoon All Real Monsters?
Yeah.
They were in my closet.
Really.
Yeah, they just popped up in my closet, freaked me the fuck out. I almost broke. I was sleeping on the bunk bed on the top bunk, saw that shit, and it can totally freak me the fuck out. So I have no idea what that was, but I think I was gang stalked as a child as well, because I don't think there were actual demons that dressed up as all real monsters character from a cartoon. Yeah, and I remember weird shit happening. Maybe I don't know, maybe I was on drugs, but since I was on the top bunk, I will walk around a little bit. Maybe it was because my brain was on mode, but just walk around a little bit on the closet, on the ceiling, just a little bit. So, do you believe in magic or what?
Uh, yeah, I believe in things that aren't otherwise explained. I
Um,
believe in miracles. Yeah.
mm,
Like there's some things that like coincide that like the chances of that happening are like slim to none.
mm,
Like when I met that guy in Virginia who was attending Dean when the Dean College fires happened at the same time that babies were getting abducted, and he was in San Francisco and the same place where Whitey Bulger was spent like 30 years in hiding, or like, what 25 years in hiding. Like things like that happen that I think are kind of magical. Uh, like synchronicities and stuff.
right.
So it really freaks me out. I really got freaked out when the train wreck guy. I was like right next to train wreck in Fort Collins, and Whitey, his Rusty was like right next. Was they were talking, and I was like, I didn't even recognize him at first. I was like, my aunt Jane, my aunt Jane's brother was the one who put Whitey Bulger behind bars. And I said it just kind of like nonchalantly thing, but I didn't even realize that I was talking to Whitey Bulger's son, Rusty,
Oh,
and people who were like directly associated with Whitey Bulger in the 70s and 80s. Uh, yeah, after that, all my food was poisoned. There was like spit in my food. There was like shit, like bodily fluids in there. It was disgusting. But I really had no other choice, than to talk about it.
wow.
Yeah, another thing that he said from his basement apartment, um, while I was like running amok in the neighborhood, he said, "You're gonna have to eat shit, punk." Yeah, like when you get older, if you ever talk about it, like we're gonna kill you. You're gonna have to eat shit. If you ever feel like pressing charges against me, that's what he said.
Right.
Uh,
So, Rusty is the dude's son.
Rusty's Whitey Bulger's son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not your sister's dad.
That is my sister's dad.
Okay.
Rusty's my sister's dad.
Okay.
She doesn't really. She's like, you know, she loves my dad. Our dad who raised us, and he left. He's gone now, and she's really upset about that. They were like best friends.
Even though he sexually assaulted her.
No, no. Sorry. Our dad who raised us, Paul Womberg. He's just a sweet old man. He worked for a computer company. He had his brother who was like the evil brother, and his brother from a different father or whatever is my sister's dad. It's confusing. Then my younger sister's dad is Trainwreck. My aunt Jane's old high school boyfriend, Jane Wreck. That's my younger sister's boyfriend. My younger sister's dad.
Right.
So poor Paul was there stuck raising 3 kids that didn't even belong to him. And my mom was like, you know, free-spirited, having sex with everybody in the neighborhood in 1980, 1986, 1995. And it was like yelling, my mom like yelling at Paul to like be a better father, you know, for these kids that aren't even his. It's really sad. And then, you know, I get home from school one day and find out that he committed suicide.
That's all the food that I got that's vegetarian. I got some apples in there, but I don't think those apples are starting to go. So I gotta clean out the refrigerator. And the rest that I have in the refrigerator is like meat. Shit, I know you don't eat meat. It's like all the non-meat stuff that I got is those chips and that fruit that I gave you. So did you like sleeping on the floor?
Yeah, it's good for my back.
Mm-hmm.
A little warm.
Yeah, I keep the heat on.
Yeah, it's nice to get off the street.
Mm-hmm. You welcome. I felt the same way when somebody was nice to me, but I think this guy tried to be my handler. I don't want to be your handler. But yeah, they were gang stalking veterans. They were gang stalking them, and they knew I was homeless and with a broken ankle. I think they wanted me to be part of some sex trafficking ring, and I think I was raped when I was asleep. And it was weird. You did you did see the hallucination of these people shape shifting, correct?
Yeah, they do some pretty crafty stuff.
Well, it wasn't makeup with me. I think it was remote neural monitoring. When I was at Bell's shelter, they was shapeshift right in front of you, and I'm like, okay, this is Project Blue Beam because I don't think you're no fucking alien. I think you just a piece of shit. So anyway, they kicked me out, and eventually these people found me, and then they knew that my ankle was fractured and I was homeless. So they befriended me and gave me a place to stay for a couple of days, and then it turned in for like a couple of months. And the dude was digging in my shit because I was walking around with one of these baskets, right? And then I woke up, and then his eyes were totally different. His eyes were slitted.
Oh, they like pinch in like that way?
I didn't see the eyes open and close. I just remember looking up, and his eyes were just slitted, and then I passed out as he was digging through my shit. Earlier, I went to his place. He had no furniture, so me and him were just sleeping in his place on the floor. He decided to take my leg that had the fractured ankle, and he did something. It felt like he was injecting me with something right here, and it was really painful. And he's like, "Relax, relax," and then his eyes slid it open. Now imagine, like he had like green eyes, and then the eyes turned brown, and with a slit in it. I'm like,
I met one guy when I first moved to Rochester. Uh, for some reason, I think it's the same guy. I think it's the Whitey Bulger, it's the Rusty Bulger guy. But I don't know. He dyes his hair, you know. But his eyes, like like a lizard's like collapses in like that way, like a pupil.
like the, yeah,
Yeah. He looked at me, and we were in like a hospital setting, so it was like it was supposed to be private.
right.
And I remember he looked at me, and his eyes did the thing, like it was like a shutter for a camera.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, it really freaked me out.
Well, hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Does it matches this? Hold on, cause I don't pay attention to reptilian videos, but everybody was started talking about this German chick. Okay, hold on, hold on. Okay. Just hold on for a second. Where's this German chick at? Do you believe like the royal family of reptilian or something? Okay, hold on. Where you at, bitch? Okay, where you at? Okay, just hold on for a second. German lady. Where's the German lady at? I want to go. Okay. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Oh, there she is. Sorry about that. Okay, German reptilian eyes caught on camera. Is it like, does it look like this? I don't lie about bitches about Donald Trump. No, that's okay. Okay, maybe we can get like a better, like that.
What? Yeah, kind of.
So I don't know. They said this was live, and when we record, there's many different versions of this.
Yeah.
But every time she closed her eyes, it went click. Like, why does that?
That's what it looked like.
Oh, really? And this music does not make it any better at all. Just another one. Um, yeah, but you keep saying that it's a reptilian, but her eyes doesn't do click. It just like shh, and it keeps going over and over again. But I seen so much shape shifting, it's not even funny. That's something similar to the one. This is an old Britney Spears clip. I don't know. I don't think these people are real.
What? No, I think it could be edited.
I think so too. They talk about clothes and shit. So you think this is all makeup? Like this film is this right here. You think it's all makeup? How it just changed its shape and color and so it
Oh
didn't
yeah. No, those are probably more like the ones that I've seen, like the contacts. They have ones that do that.
contact to make it just change and
Yeah, they're like a hologram contacts, I think.
Really? They're
pretty cool though. They're pretty neat when they do that. A lot of people out in Colorado have that.
So you walking around with a normal eye, and then it's like a mood ring with just shape.
Yeah, kind of. There's another guy out there. He got his right eye removed, or no, it was his left eye. He had to have his left eye removed, so he had another one, a replacement. But it's like some Google Glass thing. Yeah, look up the Google Glasses. It's crazy the amount of how invasive they are with like people's information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of hoping that it would work for me. You know, I finally got audited, and all the information I've been offering up over the past 25 years would finally be worth something.
Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know that with contact to make you look like reptilians, like you be normal, like holograms. A lot of people say that there's a lot of hologram shit out there, like Project Bluebeard.
Yeah.
Like why? Why walk around with reptilian shaped eyes, contacts? I guess to become YouTube famous or something. Oh, there's this chick. I don't know. She said that that her eyes shift. There it is. Okay, well, come on and show it. There it is.
Oh, wow.
That's what it looked like?
It's kind of cool.
No, so
We're
that.
gonna get some.
Yeah, because I know these shape shifting shit, their eyes shape shift all differently.
It's like the from Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Right.
But that was filmed in Skid Row, wasn't it?
I don't know if a Thriller was filmed in Skid Row.
This was said on the Wikipedia. I don't know if it's real or not.
Oh my god, this guy. Oh my, I'm so tired. But it's like I said, it was weird that we both woke up at the same time. It was like 4 something in the morning. Okay. I gotta get dressed and I gotta go to the police station.
Okay.
Alright. But nice talking to you.
Yeah, nice hanging out.
If we're able to meet again and you need a place to like relax for the night, I'd like you to come back over.
That would be cool.
Okay. Because I know how it feels, man. But like I said, like this guy, he wanted me to like be a handler. This dude was weird. And like no, and then I called him again. He's like, "Nah, I don't want to be around you." I'm like, "Oh, okay, fuck you."